The creation of Excitebike for the NES. The 1984 launch of the Nintendo Entertainment System ushered in a golden era of 8-bit gaming. Among the NES's standout launch titles was Excitebike, a motocross racing game renowned for its revolutionary design. Developed by Nintendo R&D1, Excitebike combined accessibility, depth, and thrilling gameplay into an experience that showcased the talents of early visionaries of game design. An analysis of Excitebike's creation reveals thoughtful craft and innovation that made it a foundational title for both the NES library and racing genre. The dawn of Nintendo R&D1. Excitebike originated from Nintendo Research and Development 1, R&D1, an internal team led by the father of Mario, Shigeru Miyamoto, alongside developer Takashi Tezuka. In the early 1980s, Nintendo tasked this small but expert group with creating accessible, polished content to drive adoption of the Famicom console in Japan, which would launch worldwide as the Nintendo Entertainment System. Miyamoto's mandate was to establish Nintendo's reputation through games featuring playful characters, easy-to-understand controls, and gradual difficulty curves accessible to all. Excitebike aligned with these goals while also acting as a technical showcase of the NES's capabilities beyond arcade ports. The team sought to craft an experience taking full advantage of the possibilities offered by a home console, creating a pick-up-and-play racing experience. In conceptualizing Excitebike, the R&D1 team wanted gameplay accessible to players intimidated by complex racers, yet deep enough to sustain skilled players. This guided the simplified controls and physics, where players only needed to worry about accelerating, braking, and steering, no complicated button combos. Excitebike's forgiving handling enabled newcomers to jump in easily while still offering opportunities for mastery. The iconic 2D side-on view provided greater track visibility compared to limited first-person cockpit views. Programmer Toshio Kai crafted intelligible environments full of ramps, hills, and obstacles clearly telegraphed against the flat horizon. This clear readability allowed players to make split-second reactions as they learned each track. Despite Excitebike's simplicity, designers snuck in replayability features like track editor modes. Gamers could create, share, and compete on their own custom tracks. This extension of the core concept enabled natural skill progression and community engagement, features expected in modern games but rare at the time. Pioneering realistic physics and sounds. Excitebike stood out from contemporaneous racers through its advanced physics and audio. The side-scrolling courses featured genuine dips and rises affecting bike traction versus just flat landscapes. Land too hard off a ramp and momentum would screech to a halt. Surfaces like sand and ice introduced slipperiness. Bumping into opponents realistically slowed both racers down. This attention to realistic physics made skill-based mastery rewarding in a way fictional worlds could not. On the audio front, Excitebike used tones mimicking authentic motorcycle sounds. The noisy engines revving before the start added excitement. Skidding out produced accurate screeches while different surfaces featured distinctive traction noise. Together with catchy music by esteemed Nintendo composer Koji Kondo, Excitebike's sounds hammered home the racing realism. Impact on racing and design. Excitebike proved a major success upon its NES launch. Its simplicity welcomed gamers intimidated by complex racers while supplying enough depth for hardcore players. Building the entire game around a single sport concept offered focus and replayability that bolstered its longevity. Excitebike set benchmarks for balancing accessibility with challenge. Its iconic visuals and realistic physics became benchmarks future racers built upon. Excitebike pioneered gameplay staples like terrain variations, stunt ramps, and character wipeouts. It cemented Nintendo's talent for tight controls and teaching through level design. Excitebike's approach of easy-to-learn, tough-to-master game loop could be traced in later NES classics like Super Mario Bros. Decades later, Excitebike's DNA lives on whenever a racing game promises pick-up-and-play thrills. For generations of gamers, it defined a template of what makes racers so engaging.